Hi, everyone. Welcome to Me, You, and Who. On today's episode, I get to talk with Alyssa, an amazing egg donor who embarked on an identified, also called known, egg donation journey to help create a happy family. Alyssa opens up about her motivations for becoming an egg donor, the process from start to finish, and the incredible relationships she's formed with her intended parents throughout the journey. While this journey didn't go as planned, Alyssa shares the roller coaster of emotions surrounding the egg retrieval process and the joy of ultimately helping to create a precious embryo. Join us as Alyssa reflects on the impact her journey has had on her life while offering valuable advice to aspiring egg donors. Enjoy! Me, you, and who? Who knew it would take more than two people to have a baby? In a world where infertility is no longer a taboo topic, this podcast will take you through all of the different aspects of surrogacy and egg donation through the lens of many who walk this journey in different ways. My name is Whitney Hall, and I am a two-time surrogate, now turned surrogacy coordinator for Egg Donor and Surrogate Solutions, the very agency I used when I chose to carry for two amazing families. With this podcast, it is our goal to help guide and support you as you learn about what it takes to grow a family in an alternative way, as well as hear inspiring and beautiful stories of how this path has changed lives forever. We can't wait for you to hear about just one more way happy families are created every day. Hi, Alyssa.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh,
So
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped
Yes.
because I have heard about you. I've seen your amazing stuff that you've shared on our social media. Yes. And so I'm just so excited that I get to finally talk to you. I get to know you more and just hear your story.
Yes, I'm so excited. So awesome.
Okay. Yes, it's going to be so great. Okay. So first, hi, you're Alyssa.
Yes.
You are a egg donor, and
Yes.
I just want to hear, let's go way, way back. How did egg donation even get on your radar?
So a while ago, it had just been something that I'd saw somewhere, and it totally piqued my interest. I actually got my tubes tied back in 2020. So me and my husband, we didn't have planned to have any more children.
Sure.
And I was just like, I feel like it just was an opportunity that came through, and I was like, I'm gonna really try this out. And then once I started to really look through agencies and fill out applications, I feel like even more came to mind of why I should. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so you saw it somewhere, and then what was kind of that process like as you were kind of going through and figuring out, agency versus bank and going with who you felt comfortable with? How was that process? What did that research look like?
So I actually, I thought I applied to maybe two different agencies, and the application process is so lengthy. It's a lot.
Yes.
So, it's just, I'm so happy that I ended up with Egg Donor Solutions because it has been absolutely amazing every step of the way. Literally no complaints. But yeah, it's so funny. I started doing my application on my bachelorette trip.
Oh my gosh,
stop it. In my downtime, I was started it. And
hey,
it took
ladies,
me a while.
We're getting married and I'm going to donate my eggs. I love it.
So, it's funny. But I started it in May, just to explain to anyone how long it takes. It doesn't have to take so long, but you really think about the questions and everything. So I started it in May, and it didn't truly be completed until I think it was, I tried to write it down, February. It was accepted and posted.
Oh my gosh.
But
to be fair, you were living life during that time.
Yeah.
But it's a really extensive application. I know whenever I've looked at it, gosh, they ask so many questions about, you have to know so much about your family history, and you have to call people.
And you really want to answer it with purpose, So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you're so right. Like with
yeah,
purpose. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. No, for sure. That makes a ton of sense. So you had said that you applied to two different agencies. So good Lord, you did the application twice. Uh,
But I was
well,
like, I really want to do this. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what made you ultimately decide that egg donor and surrogate solutions was kind of like, hey, this is the right spot for me?
Everything, I was seeing stuff online, like
Yeah.
on social medias, so it really piqued my interest there. Um, and then once it got accepted, immediately I would say like the support, like just right from the beginning when you get
Mm,
accepted, I was like, yeah, this
yeah,
is
this feels
this is
good.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay, so you said that you had started your application at your bachelorette, which is hilarious. What did your friends and family and at the time fiance, now husband, think about you being like, yeah, I'm going to do this?
Yeah, I had brought it up to my husband, and ever since the beginning, he was, men, I feel like, not all men, but he didn't know much about it, but he was like, yeah,
Sure.
that's pretty cool. Um, and I have many clients and friends who struggle with fertility too.
Mm,
And it's been very, I've never struggled. So I figured, I just felt like it was a great opportunity for me, you
no, for
know?
sure. Absolutely. You're able to help somebody.
Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. And I'm sure, especially with having kind of that firsthand knowledge of,
Yeah.
seeing your friends and
Oh, I've
clients
seen
and
it. Yeah, I hear it from my clients. I feel like I've gone through struggle, like the ups and downs with them because they come to me to relax, but it also, it's pouring out of them. You hear it all and
yeah.
yeah. So,
Oh gosh, yeah, for sure, for
yeah.
sure. So ultimately, you finally finish your
Yeah.
application. Yay. And then you get to the matching process. Now you decided
hmm
to do a identified cycle.
Yeah, so when I did apply though, I applied it as I didn't mind if it was known, I didn't mind if it was unknown. All the boxes. All the
Yeah.
boxes. I was like, I'm here for whoever. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it ended up being unknown identified cycle.
Oh
And
my
I'm
gosh. Okay.
so happy that it worked out that way.
Yeah, tell me
It's
more. Tell me
awesome.
more. What made you so happy?
Um, like I said from the beginning, I was like, known, unknown, it'll be okay, but do you think it's like pretty rare that it's you get chosen for a known identified cycle,
I
or you think
think
it's more common now?
I think it's becoming more common now because, right,
Yeah,
like back in when egg donation first became a thing, everything was, quote unquote, anonymous.
yeah,
So, which now in this day and age, there's no such thing as
right,
anonymous.
right,
And now I think more and more people are wanting to, I
yeah,
know like we really want to encourage the known and
right,
identified because, of just of so many reasons,
right,
those tiny little humans that we work so hard to create become
yeah,
people, and they want to know more about just their genetic history, and and not to mention like there's kind of the obvious of like medical developments and wanting to have medical history specifically, like if anything, that alone.
right.
But yeah, I think more and more it's becoming common, and I think to what it sounds like your experience was pretty magical and you were pretty
Oh my
excited about
gosh,
it.
yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, once I found out that it was going to be known, I feel like every major part of the process where you get like more information,
Sure.
fireworks go off like in your head.
Yeah.
So that was just awesome to hear that, and then eventually, get to know their names and see their pictures, all the things. So it's been
Oh my gosh,
amazing.
that's so exciting. Okay, where were you when you
Yeah,
got the call?
here.
You were at work.
Every time I usually do stuff, I'm here. But yeah, so I just so happened to be on a break and I got the call. And I think I took a video like right after I got the call too while I was here.
Oh my gosh. What were
Yeah.
some of those feelings? Hey, Alyssa, you've just been chosen.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I feel stuck because I'm like, I don't want to say indescribable, but like I was at a loss for words,
Yeah.
like just so excited. Like, we were moving forward, and yeah, just so excited to
Yeah.
see where it was going to go from there.
Did it feel real or not really?
Um, yeah, I would say for a second I feel like it took a couple days to process, but immediately, like I called my husband and my mother because they're like the two biggest supports along the way. Everyone's super supportive, but it was just so exciting to let them know. And it just so happened to be around like the holidays and everything, so it was so cool.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so fast forward a little bit, you start going through kind of those major, points in the process.
Yeah.
And you are, like you said, you're starting to see pictures, you're starting to know names. What was that experience like, getting to really get to know the people that you were doing this for?
Yeah. I will say I feel like every year I get older, I get a little more emotional. So, but it was all good emotions. Like
Yeah.
everything along the way has been like so just like heartwarming, and yeah. So, just getting to read their story and really
Mm,
understand everything, it makes it so much bigger than
yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay, so take me through the process. You get the call, you're learning more about, your intended parents, and now things are starting to become real. So you go for that medical screening appointment. What was that like?
Yeah. So I'm trying to let me think back here
Yeah.
to I think there is so many steps along the way. Yeah. So, um, I think I started out with like doing the blood work.
Hmm.
Um, I'm trying to think, if I traveled for the medical screening appointment. I've traveled to them 3 times,
Hmm.
because we're a couple states away.
Yeah.
So, but every time I've traveled, even to the clinic that they're at,
Hmm.
everyone was amazing. So I felt
Mm.
comfortable. I have felt comfortable totally the whole way.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And even because you're so right, there are so many steps. And to be able
Yes.
to have the support from the clinic, the
Yeah.
agency, like, I mean, that's so super helpful whenever you're in the midst of doing something that you've never done before.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, so you got through medical screening. Everything looks fantastic and wonderful. We
Yes.
get through, legal. That's whenever we got to get, all of the fun paperwork done. And
Hmm.
now it's time to get the process started. Tell me all the things.
Yeah. So, we got matched. Learned that it was known, and then I would say after that, it was a little bit of waiting. We did some
Mm-hmm.
legal where we got to like release names. That was a huge day, like releasing the
Yeah.
names. That was super huge. Um, and then it all started to move forward, the genetic testing, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So the second time I had traveled to their
Mm-hmm.
clinic was when I was doing my baseline.
Okay.
So does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was huge uh appointment, and it was so exciting because I the coordinator I had, we worked so closely together. We
Mm.
became so close. It's like so awesome. So I was prepared for everything. I
Yeah.
went in there knowing what to do, and then I like have my list here of like making sure I left with everything because I did go there to get the meds too, and I did
Sure.
fly home with them. So yeah, it was just a huge, exciting process because then once you're um, getting ready for all that, it's really the ball's rolling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
What were some of like what was your experience with the cycle? Did you have any side effects from the meds? How did you feel about bringing home all of those meds? Oh my goodness.
Yes, I know. I was like, of course, I'm an overpacker. So I was like, how am I gonna do this? It's totally gonna be okay. Yeah, so we had the checkup appointments at home that were like a little more local to me.
Mhm.
And everything along the way for me went really well. I
Mm.
almost felt like an A+ student or something, like
Yes.
like all my tests that I was doing, all the appointments I was going to, they were like, "Oh, this is awesome. Everything looks great." So I was super, super excited, and just even more excited that they were getting to hear that info back too.
Yeah. Did you have
So,
any communication with the intended parents during this time?
um, no, we
Hmm.
didn't end up having communication until later on.
Yeah.
Um, and then we now have a very great relationship.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's so
I feel like we
fun.
did along the way. They released a lot of information to me throughout the process, sharing their story. They went out of their
Yeah.
way to like write me letters. Um, they're really
Mm.
amazing. They're
Oh,
really
I
amazing.
love that.
Yeah.
So you started going through just your cycling process, all of the meds and things like that. Kind of, logistically speaking, how did you handle taking all those meds? How did you have any side effects? Like, tell me more.
Um, the meds were I've never had an issue with
Yeah.
needles or anything. So that was another thing from the beginning. I was like, I feel like I can totally handle this. Like I've never um, been, it's never been like a fear of mine. So
Yeah.
it was awesome. Um, the meds went great. I didn't really have any side effects. I tried to take videos and like document the process along the way with that too. And everything was pretty
Mm.
good for me. The only thing that was a little funky was the birth control, which I've never really haven't been on a birth control pill since I was like 18 years old.
Right.
So, but other than that, yeah, everything went pretty well throughout that
Mm.
process there.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me more.
So I'm doing my checkups here at home. Tons of follicles. They're seeing like everything they want to
Yes.
see. Yes, it was so exciting. Um, and then it came time towards the end of like my calendar that I was going to be traveling to um, the clinic that they were at a couple states
Right.
away. And, we're going to do our last visit there. And then after the weekend, plan to do the retrieval.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I have all my meds with me. When I would fly, it would usually take me almost like a day. I feel like between flights because I would have to take 2 flights. So, I'm doing
Oh,
some meds
sure.
in the airport or on the plane. And I had a companion come with me, which was my mother. So that was awesome.
Mm.
And we get to the part where we are doing our retrieval and we're taking our trigger, the
Yeah.
night before. So that was that whole time frame right there was so emotional in the best way, like so exciting.
Mm.
My IPs had sent me a letter the night before, or like the week
Mm.
of, I had sent them a letter the night before that I wanted them to receive just to read on that day. Our relationship is so great. So, yeah,
Oh. Oh my gosh.
yes. So I take the trigger um, the night before, which you've probably seen a video of. I documented that. And
Yeah.
then, okay, it's not the night, it's like 36 hours for, a
Yeah,
little
not
bit ahead
quite the
of
night
time.
before, but like
Yeah,
you're getting things
yeah,
started.
yeah. And we didn't have a checkup between the trigger and my retrieval.
Okay.
So I go in for my retrieval bright and early. Everything's good. Me and the doctor are like, I got close with the doctor and the nurse along the way. It's that
Oh yeah, you're seeing
relationship
them a
with
lot. So
everybody.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
So now it's to the point where we're going in for surgery,
Yeah.
and super excited. And then we go through that. It's a fairly quick procedure,
Yeah.
super comfortable. But I woke up after my retrieval and my doctor had came in and he kind of looked like a little sad almost. And then he had told me that my trigger shot that I had taken didn't my body didn't react to.
Oh
So he told me we
no.
got one egg that day.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
that was super. And he, I could tell he was pretty, because I had I had a lot of follicles, like a lot.
Yeah.
So it was a little emotional and a little bit of like a bummer. And I just felt, for me, it was like my heart was hurting for them, my
Yeah.
IPs. So I left, and I feel like everyone was like brainstorming at this point,
Sure.
Um, and they called me, and they asked me if I was comfortable doing a second retrieval,
Yeah.
because once you do your retrieval, that's you've done your part,
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
you
You've done it.
um
You've done everything that's been asked of you.
right,
Yeah.
but there was no one saw it coming, everything looked so perfect.
Right.
And it was just kind of like a fluke thing that happened. So I was like, there's
Mm.
no way that like I'm done here. So
Mm.
I was talking to my coordinator and the nurses and everything, and I was like, I definitely would like to come in and do another retrieval. So
Yeah.
we administered another trigger the next day, and did a second retrieval
Oh my
the
gosh.
following
Okay, so
day.
you were still able to like kind of quote save the cycle. You didn't have to start like
Yes.
all the way back over or anything
Yep.
like that.
So this all happened
Wow.
within like, I would say this all happened within like 48 hours, like the two
Oh
retrievals and
my
everything.
gosh, what an
Yeah.
emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Yes. But I knew,
Wow.
I was like, this is not, there was no way that I wasn't doing a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
so how was the second?
It was good. We went, no matter how emotional it was, I was like, me and I know my IPs were like manifesting this,
Yeah.
we're like, this is going to be, yes, it was like, it's just a fluke, crazy thing that happened, but still like holding all that hope in there that, we're still going to be able to retrieve more. So we did. We went back in the next day. The doctor, he was like, had told me he was thinking about it all night, thinking about,
Sure.
so, yep, we saw each other before, and then we went in and we were able to retrieve 7 more eggs the next day. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
So,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. But so that was it. So it was an emotional journey for me during that retrieval. Just because I was like, just only want the best for my IPs. They're so deserving, and
Mm,
they're such sweet people. Yeah. So,
I love that.
uh,
So you had that second retrieval within the one
yep.
cycle.
Yes.
And then how was recovery having had done that
I know.
twice?
Yes, I was nervous, and my coordinator, I think she was a little nervous for me too. Because
Yeah.
they really, everyone does so great at preparing you for what could happen, like the OHS and everything. You're
Sure.
so um, prepared of, any side effects that could come along. But I drank a ton of water.
There
I
you
was
go.
like sitting up. I was doing everything that I could, totally resting. And um, I was just, of course, I was bloated and everything. But other than
Sure.
that, I would say I'm very lucky, like that my recovery was totally, you know, minimal, minimal side effects, just like bloating and
Yeah,
like
no
discomfort.
complications,
My heating
just
pad was my best friend,
heck yes.
and yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh, that's amazing.
yeah.
So you had recovery, your part's done.
Yeah.
What was that? I mean, you've kind of given us the sneak peek that you still have a relationship with your intended parents.
Yes.
What did you hear from them after it went from one to now we have 8 eggs and like
Right.
tell me more.
Right. So I ended up we ended up getting, in the end, one embryo, this magical one embryo that we are still is still waiting to be
Yeah.
transferred. It will be soon. She just needs to. She's was taking the time to get herself 100%,
Absolutely.
and totally be there for and be ready. But she totally knows when the time's right. She's amazing. She is totally amazing. So
Oh.
we are just still fingers crossed and
Yeah,
holding all the things.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Well, and that just shows, I mean, there's a reason why, right? That,
yeah,
I know you hear a lot of people who like, oh, you hear things like 25 eggs and, all of that.
yeah,
25 eggs does not equate to 25 embryos.
right, right.
Yeah.
And that's so I was so nervous. I was nervous. Like, I'm very positive and I try not to think negatively at all,
Of
but I was
course.
like, oh, okay, so this is eight eggs in total. I know, that they've got to go through their process and do their thing to make it to that embryo.
Right.
And so we were just so happy that we ended up with that embryo. And
Yeah. Oh, what a loved little embryo. What a
yes,
loved
yes. Oh
little
my
embryo.
gosh, so loved by everyone. By everyone. I know, like, I have a huge community here, like on my end, and
Yeah.
I was super open throughout the whole entire process with my clients. Everyone knew what was going on. Everyone knew
Yeah.
that I was committed to a cycle. So, I would have to move people here and there,
Sure.
or, everyone was amazing here on my side too. So people still ask me when they come in, like, they'll still check in. They'll be like, so do we know? All the questions.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that just shows how important it is to have that community and that
Yeah.
support, especially when things don't go the way that, we were expecting them, and to still
Yeah.
have all of those cheerleaders just rooting for you and rooting for
Right.
your intended parents, people that they haven't even met. Like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
It's
Oh my
amazing.
gosh. That's amazing. So, since then, and as we're kind of, I know we're in this, waiting period, which I feel like that's what IVF and egg donation and surrogacy is a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yes.
How has this experience impacted you and your life and your family?
Yes. So, it has totally given me a whole new perspective. Completely. I am now also so educated on it where, I had known things before and like kind of
Sure.
when I started, but I feel like so much more educated now. And I do my best to try and also like share my story and educate others as well.
Mm,
And even my husband, he didn't know much about anything now.
sure.
And now he's like, knows so much more. It's so
Let me
nice.
talk to you
It's so
about
funny.
follicles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
love it. I
also my
love it.
kids, like I
Yeah.
have three children and they watched me go through it all too. And I was super open with them too. Of course, I didn't get down to like the nitty-gritty of it all. Like they're young still,
Sure. Age
but they
appropriate.
totally knew like mom was going through something for someone else, to
Yeah.
help them, have a baby too. It's actually so funny. My youngest, who is 4, um, she, you know, in the morning I was doing my medication. Same
Sure.
time I'm getting them kind of ready for school too.
Right.
So they saw me go through that too, and they were, you know, as anyways, my 4-year old, she knew that I had eggs in my tummy
Uh
for
huh.
someone else. And I think just a couple weeks ago, she says, so how, she's rubbing my belly. She said, how's the egg doing? She's like, how's the
Oh.
egg?
How's the egg?
And it's just
Oh.
so funny to me because in her mind, she's probably picturing like a chicken egg or
100%.
something.
Absolutely.
So it's so cute. But
Oh, that's
yeah,
precious. Have
yeah,
you thought about, how to explain, or maybe you already have,
yeah,
how to have kind of that conversation with your kiddos of, hey, there's going to be this little person in the world
yeah,
that is, a half
definitely.
sibling. Like, how has that conversation been?
Yeah, definitely. And we've talked about it, especially with my oldest. My oldest is 11.
Yeah.
So we did, we had our own conversation about, someone else could be having um, this baby that mom helped, um, and that would be your half sibling. And me and my IPs, we have had that discussion of like, you know, um, being totally transparent with our kids and like our
Yeah.
kids knowing that they have other siblings too. So,
Mm,
we're totally so transparent with that.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah.
I love that. Well, it's part
So,
of their story just as much as it's
right.
your story.
Yes. And they've
Yeah.
said that. They said they do, um, everything goes great and as planned. They want their child to know, like, that we're a part of the story and that we're a piece of the puzzle. So,
I love that. That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, thinking, looking back, finish this sentence. I'm glad I was an egg donor because.
Because I'm glad I'm an egg donor because I feel like I truly helped make a difference in someone else's life, you know?
Mm,
Yeah,
yes. Oh
so
gosh.
special.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the hope you've given.
Yeah, so in the very beginning of the process too, I feel like I talked on the phone with Katie.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think she had asked me, like why I was interested or what, caused my interest. And I'm going to tell you, the doctor that I had deliver my last two children, I would lose sleep over how thankful I was for her, you know,
Mm,
for helping me bring these. Um, she helped with my last two C-sections, helped me bringing these babies into this world. I was like, she's an angel.
yeah.
You know, of course, I'm not becoming a doctor. So
Right.
I was like, what if I could like be that person for someone else, just someone that they're like, yeah, I don't know. That was such
Yeah.
a feeling that I feel for her. I don't know. Just so thankful and so
Sure.
awesome.
And wanting to give back in that way,
Yes.
just having
Yeah.
that impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. What is any advice that you would want to give to any, women who are thinking about being egg donors, who currently are being egg donors, whether it's logistical or just from
Yeah.
your experience? What is some advice
Yeah.
you'd want to give?
I would say it will truly change your life in all the best ways. You will truly have like a wider perspective. Um, and I have a lot of people who pique interest in the process
Yeah.
throughout like my journey, and they um, like are I've thought about it or I would like to do it too, and I totally am
Sure.
so for it. I just do let them know I'm like it is not like a quick easy thing. You're totally committing yourself. It's not just a 2 month thing that you're just gonna jump into. So it's a time
Yeah.
commitment, but it's so worth it. Every appointment, every call, every email, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all worth it.
Yes.
Okay, looking back, what would you say is maybe just a favorite moment, if you can pick one?
Oh goodness. Um, Definitely the first time I heard from my IPs. Our
Mm,
first communication. Um, we we've done like we've done videos together when we did
yeah.
like our I think with our during like our psych eval maybe and that was amazing too. I feel like the whole time we were just like looking at each other with like grins to hear. We
Oh,
had such a good conversation. We both truly feel like it was like a match made, like
yeah.
perfect. They've said that to me from the beginning. They're like, we've looked through thousands of profiles, and she said it was just something about mine for her. And for me, I could not imagine who else.
Yeah.
I feel like everything happens for a reason. Um, before I matched with my IPs that I donated to, I did have a match before,
Yeah.
but it didn't end up going through. Um, and I think they just weren't ready. It
Yeah.
was, but everything happens for a reason,
And
you
here you
know.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
So
gosh. Well, I feel like
definitely my
that's
first communications with them. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's your story is everything does ultimately happen for a reason and you ride that roller coaster
Yeah.
ultimately knowing that it's heading towards good. And I love
Yeah.
that.
Every time we talk, it's just we feel like we have known each other, you know,
I
for
love that.
forever.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's beautiful. It's a really special
yeah,
relationship. There's just this connection for
it's so
forever.
special. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much.
Yes.
So, my final question to you, and it's a fun one. For anyone who knows me, they know that I have a very codependent relationship on coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always like to ask what filled your cup this morning? Literally or figuratively, what was the thing that filled your cup?
Okay, this morning, what filled my cup? Um, Literally Dunkin' Donuts Dunkin' Latte.
There you go.
But in other sense, I get up early with the kids in the morning,
Sure.
and I have that separate time with my oldest and with my youngest. And today was a really good morning. So
Yeah.
it was just one of those days where
It just
it
feels
was
good.
like, yeah, just felt awesome.
Oh, I
Everyone
love
woke up
that.
happy. Everyone woke up with a
That
smile.
always feels good.
So for today, that's what it was.
That always feels good when those kiddos wake up in the morning. You're like, all right, we can do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Alyssa, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your story and continuing to, just spread your knowledge and
Yeah.
your experience to others. And we're just so grateful for you. And we are thinking and sending all of the happy thoughts, prayers, good vibes
Yes.
for that
Yes.
sweet little embryo just waiting.
Yes. It's all going to be awesome. It's all
It's
going to
going
be
to
worth it. All the wait. So
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Alyssa.
thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Me, You, and Who. We appreciate your time and hope you enjoyed our discussion today. As we wrap, we would like to remind you of some of the ways that you can stay connected with us and be part of the Me, You, and Who podcast community. Firstly, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode and can stay up to date with our latest content. But that's not all. We also have an exciting YouTube channel where we share some bonus content, behind the scenes glimpses, and video versions of our episodes. Head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button there as well. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when the new episodes go live. And for more exclusive updates, engaging discussions, and a chance to connect with fellow listeners. Be sure to follow us on our social media accounts. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Create a Happy Family. If you're interested in finding out more about creating a happy family, please visit us at www.createahappyfamily.com. Thank you again for being part of the Me, You, and Who community. Your support means the world to us. I can't wait for you to join us next time as we continue to share stories and journeys of creating happy families.